thanks for joining me. So today we'll be reviewing this Klutch 2-in-1 portable bandsaw that I bought at Northern Tool. I bought this bad boy for $179. That comes with one blade and the stand and vise and everything you see here. It works pretty good. It does some things great. It does some things horrible. It has one little deal breaker for me. I've used it probably 8-9 hours so far, just cutting. So for starters, let's take a look at the actual saw. You have a handle right here. You have a toggle switch for this LED right here. It's not plugged in, but there's an LED right over here that shines onto where your blade is. You have a variable speed control for how fast it cuts. Safety, trigger. You have your vise. Why your handle's missing, I'll get to that in a second. And then you have a little nut here at which you loosen. And the bandsaw becomes portable, meaning it comes off of these two dowel pins that it sits. And you can use it like a portable bandsaw, which I've never done, so I can't really say how it works about that. You have a little control here for your blade. This is how you tension the blade to get it on and off the drums. This little lever here. This little ball down here is for the safety. If we take a look right here, this little ball locks the bandsaw upright so it doesn't close on you, and then when you're ready to cut, you pull the ball out, and then the bandsaw comes down. A little bit slower than that because I'm just using one hand. But this safety only works on the up position, so if you want to lock it down, you can't without modification, which will be done soon for me. But at least it locks in the up position so that you can put your workpiece in here, and then every time you go to cut, you just pull the pin, and then your bandsaw comes down. On the other side of the bandsaw, we have a indicator which way the blade should go, or which way it spins. And then right here we have a angle measurement starting from 45 all the way over to 0, using this little arrow here that you line up. And that is pretty much the bandsaw. Here's a demonstration of how quick you can go from stand to portable. Loosen this all the way up, shimmy it out. There you go, portable bandsaw. I'm going to put it back on the stand. Tighten. Make sure your cord's not in the way. And then lower. Pretty much it. One of the worst things about this saw is going to be this thing right here. So our angle gauge. I'll give it to them that they designed this well, meaning this part ratchets so you can loosen. And then you can swivel this dumb thing to get to the angle you need. So if there weren't metal flakes here and I wasn't holding with one hand, I could move it to say 10 or 20 or 50 degrees, 45 I mean, and then that'd be set that way because this thing actually pivots. Pretty smart design. Now after that we run into issues because no matter how tight you tighten this thing, which they also give you wrench threads to put on, I think it's 12 or 14 mil, no matter how tight you tighten this thing, it will come loose at the worst possible timing when you need something straight and true. This homie will come loose at the worst possible time, and then you'll go to tighten it, and it'll be tight, but it still gets loose, so you gotta like wrench on this thing, which starts rounding, because it's, I don't know what kind of steel it is, but it's some lightweight steel right here. So no matter how tight you tighten this, like it looks tight now, but you move the bandsaw even a tiny bit, and your angles start getting warped, especially when you're putting pressure on it. you can really change your angles without you really knowing it. Which, again, no matter how tight you tighten this thing, it will come loose. I'm tempted to take this whole thing apart and just put bolt, nut, thread locker, tighten it down so it's set at 0 degrees if I ever need to change it. It'll be way easier than messing with this thing and then having to go get the adjustable wrench to tighten that up. So now we've come to the worst possible thing of this whole entire saw, which is this vise. They don't even call it a vise, they call it a base, so it's not even a vise or a clamp or nothing. You can see this is angle iron that actually wore away onto the actual vise that I'm gonna call. So if you look at it, there's supposed to be a cover right here, and then there's supposed to be a handle right here. I say supposed to be because I have removed that cover and I have removed this, the little handle on there, because after you use it for about 15 cuts, you can no longer tighten the vise. It gets loose to the point where when you start cutting, your thing will shift in here and mess up the blade, which is how I broke a few blades. So the best way I've found using this vise, and trust me, it took me like 6 hours to figure out how to use this vise perfectly. I used to the only way I could get it tight with the handle and with the cover was slam it into my workpiece and then clamp it. But then that stopped working after a while, because down here there isn't an actual bolt. So down here we have some sort of threads. So the way it works is when you get your object in here, you tighten this thing, which is a spring. It pushes these two away, and then it locks this thing into whatever groove this is so it doesn't move. I would have much preferred a bolt, like a standard vise, bolt, tighten, but you know, in cost-saving measures, they decided to use this stupid design instead. But this will be replaced with a machinist vise with reusing these and probably welding. But that's one of the problems. But all this is nothing. This can be easily remedied with our friend the 10 mil. Literally all you do is you just twist to the right using a standard 10 mil once you take the cover off and this thing off. And what do you know? The vise holds. So I took all that junk off. I have a 10 mil that I use for tightening the vise. Quicker than using the handle, quicker than screwing with it. It just works. Why they didn't do this from the factory? I don't know. Why they couldn't put a regular threaded slot? Also don't know. That is one of the problems. Next, this vise has one more problem, especially if you're using angle iron. So I'm currently loading a piece of 1-inch angle iron. It's 1 inch by 1/8 inch thick. So here we clamp it. And if you notice, for some odd strange reason, the bottom of this metal piece is chamfered at a 45. The top isn't, but the bottom is. So what that allows is your piece to slide underneath, because it also does not sit flush. There's probably I don't know, 1 to 2 millimeter gap underneath here, in which your piece, like angle iron, can slide under. So if it was flat, you wouldn't have this issue, but since it's chamfered and slides under, when you clamp your angle iron, same problem here. When you clamp your angle iron and tighten it down, once you start cutting, the vibrations from it will cause it to loosen up, unfortunately. And I've had this happen many, many times. When you're cutting, the vibrations from this thing will loosen it. Even though the clamp is tight, since it just slid under here, that's where it loosened up just enough to have enough play to spin out and wreck your blade. That being said, let's cut a piece of this 1 and 1/8 thick angle iron, just to show you the process of how we typically cut. Slide my angle iron in, use my wrench to tighten this down, wave to the UPS man, and we're good to go. So we can tell it's tight. Then turn on our LED. For this one, I'll set the speed to about 3.5. Pull the safety. Before I actually cut the material, I'll start the blade and then cut. And that's it. Loosen your clamp, and then we can take a look. This is a fresh blade, by the way, but it's nice, clean cut, a little bit of burring, but that's to be expected. True at 0 degrees, fully straight, I think. Yeah, it's just the burrs that are making it look offset. Straight and true, and that's it. So that's basically using the bandsaw to make a cut on angle iron. Now let me show you a time lapse of me cutting down a lot of this angle stock. If you had to ask me, would I pay $179 plus $10 for the extra blades, and actually buy this thing if I knew everything I knew now? Then I would, because getting a portable bandsaw with a halfway decent vise and a stand that can also be taken apart and used as portable bandsaw with universal blades, that's a heck of a deal, even if the vise sucks and the angle thing sucks. But instead of welder over, but when you have a welder over there, I mean, all this stuff can be easily fixed. This can be swapped out with a Menards machinist vise. The angle thing can be screwed down or welded down, and then only used for straight cuts. But this is definitely a good deal. It's not perfect, and unfortunately, when I saw this thing at the store, I was like, "Oh, this thing would be perfect." And then when I wrecked the blade from my pieces coming loose in the vise and getting cuts that weren't 90 degrees, I realized this thing wasn't perfect, but neither is any Harbor Freight, Walmart, Menards, Home Depot, Lowe's stuff, or Milwaukee for that matter. But this thing performs very, very good for the price, and if I had to, I'd buy this thing again. And if this thing fails, I'll buy another one because it's small, it's compact, works really, really well. And I'm a little bit impressed. However, one other thing I got to mention is double check when you're buying this thing. If yours isn't 100% perfect, don't be afraid to go back to the store. When I got mine for the blade holder that goes around the blade, to actually remove the blade, you got to unscrew all these 4 screws, take off the cover, and that's how you get to the blade. So mine, whoever was assembling decided they wanted this machine to particularly have 2 strip screws on each side, which I wasn't a huge fan of, so I just brought it back to the store and got another one that only had 1 stripped hole total. Good improvement. But yeah, I very much enjoy using this thing just to cut down angle iron at this point. Hopefully some tube stock if I get that in, or some bar stock or something. Right now it's just these because I get them at a discount. But I look forward to using this thing for cutting apart bolts or any other projects, because it's nice not having to rely on either a jigsaw, a sawzall, or an angle grinder for precision. This thing can cut down. I've had about an 1/8 accuracy cutting these down with just tape measure and measuring. So hope this review helps for whoever's looking to buy one of these, because I could not find a decent review when I was looking for them, and hopefully this helps fill in that gap for whoever's looking for them. Have a good day.